Let's go back in time. It's the year 1931. The National Federation of Temple Sisterhoods voted $1,000 to found the Jewish Braille Institute of America. Thousands of you and your members have created the Jewish Braille Institute. We remain forevermore as the patron and continue its extraordinary services through books in Braille, through large print, including the 5 books of Moses, and through talking books on cassettes.
How many of you here today had the opportunity to see, hear, or know Jane Evans? I use the word opportunity in the fullest sense of the word because any contact with Jane was an opportunity to learn, to grow, to gain from her wisdom, to be motivated and inspired, to know what it is like to be in the presence of greatness. But whether or not you had personal experience with Jane during her 96 years of life, you are a beneficiary of that life through this organization, which so indelibly bears her imprint. Jane served the Reform movement for more than 70 years, 43 of them as executive director of what was then the National Federation of Temple Sisterhoods, now Women of Reformed Judaism. Following her retirement from that position, she worked with the Union for Reformed Judaism in areas that included a long-term role in labor negotiations. Jane Evans was a woman of countless pursuits, many of them legendary, from Judaics to mathematics, from aeronautics to engineering, from world history to labor law, from medicine to music. And she imparted information and advice on these and many other subjects. When she was only 20 years old, she applied her knowledge of boat propellers to design a curved electric fan blade that would become the industry standard. At 94, she was still taking her own boat out across Long Island Sound and driving herself back and forth from her home in New Rochelle to her office in New York City. She was a parliamentarian par excellence and a leadership trainer from whom many of us still quote today. Whether she was clarifying the wording of a resolution or advocating for its passage, her strength of voice, vocabulary, and eloquence carried the day. And whether she was negotiating on behalf of many or counseling one individual, she did so with caring and integrity. Jane was deeply rooted in her faith of Judaism and an ardent seeker of Jewish knowledge. She was a lover of Israel and took up the study of Hebrew in her 80s. A lifelong learner and a lifelong teacher, she taught others by word and by deed. In the current vernacular, she talked the talk and walked the walk, a woman of countless pursuits. But the thrust of Jane's life we celebrate today was her passionate pursuit of justice. Jane was a religious pacifist, one of 3 founders of the Jewish Peace Fellowship, and was at the forefront of the movement to aid and rehabilitate survivors of the Holocaust. She believed so profoundly in world peace that she took a leave of absence to join the United States delegation in the formation of the United Nations and help draft the preamble to the UN Charter. In her 90s, she was still serving at the UN as a religious non-governmental representative. In her early years as executive director of the National Federation of Temple Sisterhoods, Jane became involved with the World Union for Progressive Judaism, then in its infancy. Its mission was to strengthen and extend a liberal Judaism that emphasized the prophetic teachings of social justice. Jane brought the collective woman power of NFTS to the support of this cause, including its early efforts to rescue and educate European rabbinic students, and she herself was there to meet them at the boat. The partnership between Women of Reformed Judaism and the World Union for Progressive Judaism continues to this day. Jane brought another opportunity to NFTS, predicated on her belief that justice includes enabling those with limitations to have access to their religious and cultural heritage. Under her leadership, in 1931, NFTS became the founding patron of the Jewish Braille Institute of America, a project which gained widespread support and spawned activity in local sisterhoods to serve the visually impaired both nationally and in their communities. Jane served as president of JBI for 16 years, during which time its services were extended and expanded to Israel and other countries around the world. Jane was deeply and Jewishly committed to human rights, women's rights, civil rights, interfaith relations, and countless other manifestations of justice. They are reflected in the resolutions and advocacy efforts that have put women of Reformed Judaism in the forefront of religious action. Justice, justice shall you pursue, says our Torah. Justice, justice did Jane pursue, and enjoined so many others in that pursuit. Her legacy has been extolled on many other occasions, but in the last analysis, we, the women of Reformed Judaism, are her greatest legacy. We are her living legacy. We continue to conduct ourselves by the processes she taught us and the principles she exemplified. We continue to be represented in the venues working for peace and human rights to which she introduced us. We continue to support the projects which further progressive Judaism and humanitarian causes, and we continue to act in the issues addressed in the resolutions she so greatly influenced. Therefore, it is only fitting for us to honor Jane's memory by recognizing other individuals for their extraordinary achievements in the pursuit of justice. It is in this spirit that we, women of Reformed Judaism, present the Jane Evans Pursuit of Justice Award.